Hi, welcome to Folder 7. Today as a student you will be able to solve multi-step equations with positive and negative rational numbers. In this folder you are allowed to use a calculator. If you don't have one, pause the video and go and get one from your teacher. You will also need one of these graphic organizers. If you do not have one, pause the video again and go ask your teacher. On the graphic organizer, we still need you to write your name. The folder, this is folder 7. We need you to write today's date and which attempt you're on. In this sprint, there are only 4 equations, but they are a little bit longer, so take your time and be careful with your negatives. You will have 2 step-out questions to answer. Okay, go ahead and write them down. Be very careful. Make sure you get all the parts of the equation. And then while you do this, hit pause. You will have 5 minutes to work on the equations. All right, go ahead and stop. I gave you a few extra seconds there. This is a little bit harder one. Remember, you do have a calculator to use. All right, here is our next slide that I'm going to go ahead and model number 1 for you. I'm going to do this by clearing the fraction. There are different ways. You may have gotten the answer right by just working like a normal problem and working with fractions. We use clearing the fractions as a model because it deliberately gets rid of the denominator. In doing so, makes it a little bit easier of a problem to work with. Okay. The first thing you may find difficult is 2x over 7 is together. Some students prefer, and feel free, to always separate that out. That is fine. Means the same thing, and sometimes it's easier to look at. Always up to you. I also have students that like to put everything as a fraction, and that's fine also. Remember, this is for you and what's best for you. Okay, I'm going to look at 7, 5, and 1. What number could help me clear the fraction? I'm going to go ahead and use 35. I'm going to multiply each term by the number 35. I'm protecting it with parentheses. You may also just protect each side with a parenthesis, and by doing so, use distribution property. I'm going to multiply all 3 terms. Sometimes I count the terms ahead of time to make sure, ooh, I do it that many times. Okay. Let's see if you have that done. Okay, we're going to go ahead. 7 goes into 35 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. So now I have 10x. That looks like it's easier to work with than maybe 2x divided by 7. 5 goes into 35 7 times. I multiply 4 times 7. I get the number 28. Again, looking a little easier to work with. Equals. Now this is something that sometimes some students forget. Don't forget the other side of the equation. And we want to go ahead, and we can't simplify it all, so we actually have to multiply 5 times 35 because there's nothing to separate out. And we would get 175. Again, you have a calculator, feel free to use that. I know I make errors. Going to go ahead and minus 28 from both sides. Nice job. Okay. Here's our x we're solving for. We're going to bring that down. Move that over, and 10x equals 147. Positive. Divide both sides by 10, and x would equal 147 divided by 10, which also could equal 14.7. Both are great answers. Always depends on how you like to answer that. Okay, here's our first step out question. What does it mean to clear the fractions? Why would I do that? Okay, modeling example number 2. Again, these are little ways to make things easier and maybe not make a mistake. I'm going to make everything look like a fraction. I also count 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 terms in the equation. Okay, that's something I do to make it easier. Okay, so here I go. I have a 1, a 3, a 3, and a 1. So I'm going to multiply every single term by 3. Never want to lose a fraction. Never want to lose a negative. Okay, nothing cancels here. So 3 times 2 is 6x. Did a good job here. We're going to cancel those 3's. Now I have plus 4. Here also, these 3's go away. Nice and canceled. I'm left with negative 2x. And all that equals 12 times 3, which is 36. Okay, so we got to keep working here. Our next thing that we're going to do is we're going to draw a line down the middle, and we're going to look and see if we need to simplify anything. Well, 6x minus 2x, we need to go ahead. Those are like terms. 6x minus 2x is 4x. I'm left with 4x plus 4 equals 36. Okay, need to solve for x. I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides using the inverse operation. 4x equals 32. Still need to divide both sides by 4. And x equals 8. Nice job. It's a lot of work. And again, you have a calculator, so feel free to use that. That will help. Step out question number 2. What number would you use to clear the fractions in the following problem? Okay, there are the remaining work and answers. Check your work. All right, nice job. Go ahead and count how you did. All right, give yourself credit for little parts and pieces that you knew. If you didn't know something, make sure you circle that. Okay, make note of it. Name the error. All right, here's our first self-reflection. So you've done this before. Name the error you made. I like to circle it, name it. Also think about what I can do to not do it again. That's where I come up with my strategies. I count the terms. I use parentheses. I make a fraction out of an integer by putting it over 1. These are ways that help me. All right, here is our next slide. You're going to do 4 more equations. Take your time. Use your calculator. Again, I'll give you a little more than the 5 minutes, so please use that to check your work. Take time writing your answers. All right, you have 5 minutes. Okay, time is up. Here are your answers. Please check your work. Sorry, that might have been too fast to check your work. All right, nice job. How'd you do? Did you improve? Write the total amount you got correct, if you improved or not, and by how much. I do want you to remember that this is the top of the 8th grade standard, so it is difficult. Again, feel free to use your calculator and ask questions. Have a great day.